This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, June 14th, 2010, and this is episode 731 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hodgeberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, I'm not one to share spoilers, certainly on this show, but I hate to tell you, buddy, but in Zombieland, Eddie Van Halen is a zombie.
That is the greatest movie ever.
Isn't it awesome?
So funny. Yeah. So for listeners who haven't seen it, go rent it on iTunes.
It's R-rated, so
it's R-rated. Yeah, so watch.
But it's very funny.
You don't want the kids to watch, but Bill Murray on it is just hysterical.
It's great.
The whole Bill Murray thing. It's funny too because the kids don't know who Bill Murray is.
Yeah.
Which I think was just classic. That's I went and saw that with my brother-in-law. It was kind of funny.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Here in the Great North, it snows 24 hours every day.
Muppets.
Oh, Muppet.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouseworld Radio. And Mike, today begins the International Hollywood Studios Awareness Week. What are you doing to celebrate?
I'm getting a round-trip airfare to go down and celebrate.
That's the spirit, Mike.
Can you
I would have also accepted I'm going to tweet, I like the studios, but that was also.
But your commitment is admirable.
I'm already committed.
Absolutely.
Can you pick me up at the airport?
You got a minute and a half.
Drat.
Yeah, he'll tweet that you need a ride. How's that?
Rats.
Also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations and group services for MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome to the show, Annette.
Hey, guys. Hey, Mike. You need to chat with me. I think I can get you a better deal on getting over to the parks.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, what does
I
that
have
mean?
no idea.
What?
Well, today we're continuing a series of episodes that we began earlier. I don't know what episode it was. You can ask Philip.
He's on vacation.
He's on holiday.
He's on holiday.
Holiday. Anyway, we're continuing an episode where we went through area resorts and told what we think are the best demographics, what groups of people are best suited to stay at those resorts. And we did the Magic Kingdom resorts already. You can check www.com for that episode. But today we're going to move on over to the Epcot resorts. And you may think that there's a lot of common stuff going on here, but you know what? I think they vary quite a bit, as we're going to find out. So I'm going to give a resort, and we're going to go through what people think is the best group to stay at that resort. So let's start out with the Boardwalk resorts. A good place to start. And we'll include the Boardwalk Inn and Boardwalk Villas, but of course you feel free to differentiate between the two when we're talking about that. So Annette, when we're talking about the Boardwalk resort, which groups of people do you think are best suited to stay there?
Well, a lot of times it's based on opinion, because I'll tell you right now, when I think of it, I think of adults. I think more because of all of the stuff is over there. You have the restaurants. Everything's kind of adult driven. My kids, one of their favorite places to go, however, is the Boardwalk. They like that pool over there. They like the location. And being teenagers, they like the fact that mom will let them go when we're over there.
Yeah, it's a great pool over there. I mean, without Stormalong Bay across the lake, really, it would be one of the best pools on property. But it's a very nice pool over there. Scopa, what do you think for staying at Boardwalk? What groups come to mind that you would recommend to stay at the Boardwalk Resort? Honeymooners?
There are so many. There are so many, Matt. Young couples who like the Boardwalk atmosphere. I think that one time Annette pointed out, and I think this is a perfect example of female solo travelers because of the security there. I'm not sure families would be right on the top of my list, but I'm thinking young adults, empty nesters, and solo female travelers.
A group that actually comes to mind that I'm not in favor of staying at this resort is DVC members. And there's two reasons why I say this. One, if you get groceries for your stay, enjoy hoofing it up that huge hill over there with all the groceries, because they don't do the free valet parking for DVC members anymore. But more importantly, actually, and Annette, you can back me up on this, sometimes you're stuck in rooms that feel like you're staying at the studios.
Most definitely. And especially if you're traveling with someone else and they're looking at Epcot.
Yeah, I mean, people assume that, you're staying at the Boardwalk, it must be, it's just a stone's throw away from Epcot. But there are some, it's primarily just in the Boardwalk, they call it the villas, right? that's where really those rooms really go on and on and on, as opposed to the inn, really, right?
Oh my gosh, it was like a maze. And I was the very last room on the hall looking at the Tower of Terror.
It's like a Twilight Zone episode when you're going to your room
Definitely.
sometimes.
It was like The Shining, right? You looked in the hallway, you're like, I actually, for the longest time, the screensaver on my iPhone was a shot down the Boardwalk Villas hallway that looked just like The Shining. And it was just like, when you look in a mirror and the mirror's just right, two sets of mirrors looking at each other.
Yep.
And it looks like it's infinity. That was it.
Good
It was
point.
creepy.
I wanted, Scopey, you were mentioning some of the groups before that would be good for the Boardwalk. What do you think about empty nesters?
I think that one of the things that an empty nester would want is being able to be close to a park like Epcot. And I'm thinking that Epcot among empty nesters would probably be right at the top, either the number 1 or the number 2 park. And the idea of being close to the park would be nice. I think that empty nesters are also into the finer restaurants at Walt Disney World, and you'd find them there. So I think that Boardwalk would be good for them. I think that I just think that that's a perfect place for them. I realize that it's really not close to Epcot like the Beach Club, but I think that for some reason that it hits me as a really nice spot. I think that they would like the idea of walking along like a Coney. It's like I don't want to say Atlantic Coney Island kind of atmosphere exactly, but it's a little bit like that, and I think that appeals to that demographic.
Absolutely. Let's go down the Boardwalk literally to the Swan and Dolphin. So 2 interesting resorts here. These are non-Disney resorts. They're Starwood resorts, but still on property and very popular with a lot of people. And Scope, I think you're going to I think one group that definitely comes to mind are the government workers as well as teachers.
That's right, because of the discounts. After that, I'm not sure.
Well, people who've got Starwood points, right? People who travel for business a lot at Starwood. I mean, these are your hotels right here.
Absolutely.
Right. Actually, when I was working for HP, I had a Starwood account there, and I thought many times of trying it because I wanted to try those heavenly beds. I think those people who have tried the heavenly beds may be the demographic that would want to go back there, because those beds are really, really different than any other bed. But I'm guessing, Matt, that the government officials and not anyone who has like a Starwood discount or just is looking for something that is a little bit different. I know that Kim Knight, who's been on our podcast, she really likes those two hotels.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely some people who really love staying there because you can get some good rates from time to time over there, and that always helps. Len, what do you think about the Swan and Dolphin? What kind of groups of people would you recommend to stay at that resort? I
think it really is primarily for Starwood guests, for conventioneers, for people who are used to a certain level of like business hotel outside of Walt Disney World. Because sometimes Disney hotels aren't exactly what most business travelers are used to. Mm-hmm. So if they want something familiar without having to do all the Disney stuff,
right?
That's that. But I think primarily the 2 big groups that I would recommend it to is, again, anyone who can get a discount, teachers, government workers, and whatnot, and then people who are Starwood rewards program members. Those are the 2 big ones, I think.
Cool. Let's go over to the Yacht and Beach Club. These are 2 resorts we've talked about somewhat at length over here. And other than travel agents, right, Annette?
Yeah.
What demographics really would you recommend to stay at these 2 resorts? What groups come to
These
mind?
2 resorts kind of lend themselves to just about any kind of demographic, really. I mean, your kids are going to love the pool.
Yep.
Teenagers love that because of the slide. They still enjoy the pool. Honeymoon couples love the closeness of going into Epcot, just like your empty nesters. There's just these resorts kind of lend themselves to everyone.
What about of the resorts we talked about on the Boardwalk area? If you're a foodie, which resort would you stay at?
Whoa.
If you're going to Walt Disney World and you really enjoy eating at if you were AJ from the Disney food block and you're saying, ooh, where would AJ stay to maximize the dining potential?
Beach Club.
Beach Club.
It's just closest.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be Boardwalk.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Boardwalk is much more of a gamble in terms of which room you can be. You can be really close to the Boardwalk, and you can be at the studios, like we mentioned. So I think definitely Beach Club definitely comes to mind over there.
But if you're going because of food, you wouldn't stay at the Boardwalk?
I just think
I mean, you're flying
Ideally,
fish.
there's nothing
you
wrong
have-
with the boardwalk.
But I mean, I think you have more.
If you're looking
dining
resorts,
options.
I know what you're saying, Mike. If you're looking resorts, because if you're at Beach Club, you're very limited in what you have right there at the resort.
Right. That's what
You're
I'm thinking.
heading
The
into the
dining
park.
options are much more
Yeah.
vast at Boardwalk than they are at Beach Club.
Well, the difference is, Mike, is that you'll have that, but if you're at Beach or Yacht Club or Beach Club, then you have an additional option right there in your hotel. I think that's what Len was leaning towards.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, if you're one of these people who really doesn't care, then yeah, because you've got everything over there. But I think that just gives you it's like an extra if you're at the Beach Club that you don't have at Boardwalk.
So I think families, right? So do we think that the Beach Club and Yacht Club are the best for families of the Epcot resorts?
Yeah,
Families with small kids.
yeah, for the pool, right?
Yeah.
There are also convention facilities at Yacht Club, right?
Yes, they're.
Yes.
Wait a minute now. Are we talking the Caribbean Beach Resort as an Epcot resort?
It is an Epcot resort.
Yes.
And I'd say that would be the best one for a family.
Really? Better than okay?
Because you know why, Len? Because you've got the private pools, you got the quiet pools there, where you don't have
we have a quiet
that,
pool at the Beach Club and Yacht Club.
but you don't have several quiet pools. You don't have one at every village. I mean, there are different villages. So I'm just thinking that gives them that to me that gives that a little bit of an edge. Plus the food court.
Food court,
Yeah.
right? So that's the right. So I think the one weakness of those two resorts is a lack of a decent quick service option, right? You notice they started to carve out areas in the shops in the Beach and Yacht Club for like quick service stuff. But that's not really. I mean, that's trying to fit a kitchen where a kitchen doesn't.
It's like a grab and go kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's not the same. So I think so Caribbean Beach has a better food court. Okay, they've got more quiet pools, but dude, I don't know. The Beach Club and Yacht Club have the best pool on property.
Well, let's talk about the Caribbean.
Okay,
Beach
and
Resort.
we can't go without saying, Yacht and Beach Club, the burger in your room for room service
Yeah, it's true. Better room
comes
service.
from Beaches and
Actually,
Cream.
Caribbean Beach doesn't have room service.
Until they open up Five Guys.
Oh dear God, that would be the day.
Yum.
Let's talk about Caribbean Beach Resort. That's going to be for what groups do you guys see as Scopy? You think young children would be well suited over here? Families that are traveling with young children.
A young family of four.
On a
that
budget.
On a budget, yeah.
That's a budget, yeah.
I'm guessing I really would not like to see more than four in a room, and I think a young family would be good. I think it's very colorful over there. I think it's very, very, very happy. It's a very Disney-like, especially with the Nemo rooms and the pirate rooms. I think you get the quiet pools. You've got you've got a lot of things, activities you could do. You've got the food court. So I think it just is kind of a nice. I think it would be a very nice introductory resort for a family going for the first time.
Yeah, I also like Caribbean Beach for people who are dependent on Disney transportation because it's so centrally located on Disney World property. You have the studios right. I know there's an internal bus, and that's not the best solution in the world. But once you get off, once you take that out of the equation, you're just talking about the bus, to and from the resort. The studios is literally down the street. It's I think 2 stoplights. Epcot's obviously very, very close, and Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are within ear reach. But certainly, Caribbean Beach is so centrally located and has access to so many roads over there that I think it makes it a great resort if you are going to be dependent on Disney transportation, more so than maybe some of the other resorts that we've been talking about. Len, what are your thoughts on Caribbean Beach in terms of groups that would do well over here?
Again, I think young couples on a budget, so young kids, maybe 20-somethings, where it's either their first trip to Disney World or it's they're doing frequent trips to Walt Disney World. It's a great moderate. When my sister and I first started going to Walt Disney World, this was I think the only moderate, and this is where we stayed. The first time by ourselves. So Caribbean Beach has a lot of fond memories for me. I think that those are the two big demographics there. When you start talking about larger groups or conventions, there are no convention facilities there. Large groups may not end up in the same area, although they probably will. Disney won't guarantee it. I do like the food court though. I think the food court has greatly improved. In fact, I got a letter from a reader this week that said that the salmon that they do here is better than the salmon that they served at Yachtsman Steakhouse,
Well,
which I think was they said it was bigger and more flavorful, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to be talking
Yeah.
about Caribbean Beach in depth, actually, in an upcoming episode to be released later this month. So that'll be an interesting topic to talk about. Is the dining and everything on there.
Just something to add to that. I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this, but youth groups that come to Disney, whether it be for sports or for other events, Caribbean Beach is a resort that is typically chosen for this. So that's
really?
something to bear in mind.
Yeah, I think definitely the young families are great. I mean, you've got great pools over there. They redid that pool. The Caribbean Beach pool was redid a couple of years ago now, but they did a great job with that. Obviously, the small pool, the quiet pools rather, are very, very nice, and the on-site dining options are not bad at all, especially for counter service. Some good choices over there. Did we miss any of the Epcot resorts?
I think that's it.
I think those are all of them, right? I mean, certainly we got the solo traveler pretty well handled. We got the young family, older family. We'd probably say Yacht and Beach Club, right? If you're traveling with like teenagers,
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Good. Boardwalk. We have empty nesters. I think we got everyone. Is there anyone? I mean, these are. I think overall the Epcot resorts are great. Have great access. Pretty good dining options as well. And certainly, some good choices over here. So hopefully this will help some people out in choosing their next resort. Cool. Well, that'll do it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, be sure to visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. Want to take a minute to mention that our next live show is going to be on June 27th, 2010. So start thinking of your questions. It'll be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and lots of opportunities to ask your questions and it's a lot of fun, really. If you haven't checked out a live show, be sure to check that out. All the details on our next live show will hopefully be at wdwtoday.com. For Lantasta, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.